postgraduate and one PhD student, and currently 2 students are pursuing postgraduate under him. He has 20 scientific publications and more than 100 citations to his credit. He has worked on the project related to synthetic and analytical chemistry. He has played an active role in research project sanctioned by the Mumbai University. He is a reviewer of several reputed scientific journals and scientific magazines. He has been a lead member of many of the institute related activities. He is a life member of the Association of Pharmacy Teachers of India. Apart from this academic, he has an expertise to build skill set of students such as team working and leadership. Interpersonal skills like negotiation, persuasion, decision making, handling conflicts, sharing attitude, communication skills, creative thinking. Recently, Sir has received a tag of Innovation Ambassador from the Ministry of Education's Government of India Innovation Cell. So, not much wasting much time of yours, Sir. Please start with the session. Over to you, Sir.
मैम आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
Hello, Sir. Please unmute.
Am I audible? And
Yes.
whether the screen is visible? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, madam, for this nice introduction. I am grateful to team of Ideal College of Pharmacy, Kalyan, and especially thankful to principal of an institute and Sucheta madam and Dr. Rakesh Somani sir for giving me an opportunity to share thoughts on topic design thinking and innovations. So, dear students and faculty members, welcome to all of you in this session. Innovation Ambassadors, Ministry of Education, Government of India, Innovation Cell usually conduct such kind of series of sessions to create awareness, then inculcate entrepreneur mindset and bring cognizance about startups, intellectual property rights and and facilitators and faculty members.
I think there is some disturbance.
Request students.
Arjun, yes, please mute yourself. All of you, please mute yourself. Sorry, sir, you can continue, sir.
And this is a class of BPharm final year students or mixed? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, someone is changing setting, madam. I just manage that setting. Just wait.
Okay, sir.
Sir, also not moving, Dr. Zine. Slides are not moving.
Yes, please confirm, madam, whether now screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I have just changed setting so that students are, I think, managing that particular setting. So I did that just now.
So sorry for it, sir.
Yeah. Madam, whether this crowd is for only BPharm final year students or a mix BPharm first year and second year?
Sir, actually, it is mixed. Third year and final year both.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. Okay, then we can go ahead. So as each one of you after graduation is planning for job, maybe some of you will go for higher studies, isn't it? And we have a number of options to join pharmaceutical industry, such as sales and marketing, then production, quality control and assurance, then analytical and formulation development laboratories, regulatory affairs, and few of you will join academic as a career. But today, I am planning to orient you on a very unique career path to all of you in a field of design thinking and in a field of innovation. So, are you with me, dear students? If yes, just show me the thumb so that I can gauge your response as well. Yes. All right. All right. Here, chat also I am observing. Okay, okay. Those students are on laptop or maybe PC. They can put message here in the chat corner as well. And those who have joined on mobile, I think they are not able to access the chat. So they can use our favorite emojis for response. So content of talk will be basically what is design thinking, then design thinking as a strategy for innovation, then distinction between design and design thinking, then a framework for design thinking, and how will you scale the design thinking as a scale or maybe the one of the skill, and career opportunities in a field of design thinking and innovations. But before moving further, would like to take one reflection on certain questions so that based on your responses, I can set tone of our today's discussion. So you all are ready? Okay, that's great. So my first question is, how many of you would like to start your own business or startup and to become as an entrepreneur after your education or graduation? Just reflect your answer either in a yes or no. So how many of you would like to start your own business or startup and to become an entrepreneur after your education? Yes, I am getting hands. Yes, Faiz Ansari has responded yes. That's perfect. Very well. So, next question. Are you aware about concept of design thinking? Let us drop yes or no in a chat corner, or just reflect, or if any one of you would like to share, yes, this will be the design thinking. So I welcome such kind of the students. Yes. Are you aware about design thinking or concept of design thinking to become a professional or maybe to enroll yourself as one of the professional in design thinking? Yes, mixed responses are there. Yes, no, yes, no. Anyway, so I wish all the best who have mentioned, yes, I know the design thinking. So, and I am sure those who have not responded, after this session, your mind gets activated in this direction and will give a thought. on this particular topic or on this particular career path as a professional in design thinker. So before moving on actual topic, I would like to show you latest two innovations by our Indian innovators. So here you are observing on a slide. So all these are students of your age. They have launched terracotta startup with just rupees 50,000 investment, and because of this kind of startup, artisan incomes, those who are actually making such kind of the potteries, their income has raised by 40%. What is a terracotta? You know, that is a type of fired clay, typically of brownish red color and unglazed, used as an ornamental building material and in modeling purpose. So, and also here just as a decoration or maybe as an interior part of our decoration, we generally purchase such kind of material. And you know, in the heart of India's handicraft community, rural artisans are sculpting simplistic all these earthenwares with the skill of their hands. And the process begins when the clay is meticulously sieved and churned to the right consistency in a homemade contraption. And every product shipped from this mud is dried and then fired in a kiln rising to some temperatures ranging anywhere maybe around 600 to 1000 degrees centigrades. So this is a overall terracotta business, and here two 20-year-olds, isn't it? Two 20-year-old students from Rajasthan, in a pink city of Rajasthan, they are working to deliver these anachronistic beauties to your location, wherever in the world, while helping sustain the art of terracotta pottery. And the name of students are Abhinav Agarwal and Megha Joshis. They have started their online store. That is, name is Miti Hub, and that sells all these earthenware delivered directly from these artisans to buyers. So what is unique about this venture is its allegiance to those potters, those who are very interior part of a particular district. They got a home, they are getting earnings, they are receiving monthly income of around rupees 40,000 from an art that was expected to get lost amid machine made bulk production. So obviously these are the students, they have created or they have innovated this online store, and with the help of these online stores we can purchase such kind of the earthenwares here in Mumbai or maybe all over the world. So that kind of the thought process, that kind of the thinking they have applied to start this such kind of the business. Another innovation I would like to mention over here, and if you read the some innovation bulletin, so here recently women's innovation turns stinky urinals orderless and save over around 1 lakh liters of water daily. So this is also the one of the innovation. You are observing while traveling, several people avoid using the public toilets and urinals owing to lack of hygiene, and most importantly for the putrid smell most of them emit. And this smell generally, why from the public toilet such kind of the smell generally arises prominently, because that is from the ammonia which is released when water mixes with the urine. And to ensure the smell leaves, some of us even flush a second time. But did you know that each flush in such kind of the toilets that uses up to 6 liters of water? And moreover, more water is used to wash off the cleaning agent while cleaning the urinals. So, however, to ensure the water is saved and urinals are kept clean, Mumbai-based water conservationist, name of this lady is Neha Bagoria. She has developed, innovated one product with a simple innovation, and the name of the product is eco-trapping. So here on the slide you are observing this is an eco-trapping. So what is the exact process or mechanism? If in a nutshell, I would like to tell you that using this retrofit device, there is no need for even a single flush, isn't it? The urinal would need to be cleaned 2 times a day during regular use. And this device generally works on a simple mechanical principle and needs to be placed on a drains of men's urinal, and it allows urine to pass through it swiftly, and a flap placed within it opens up when the liquid passes, and it closes once the flow gets stopped. So as of now, 800 devices have been deployed across the India, and that they have helped to save around 1,67,000 liters of water per urinal, and a total of 190 million liters of potable water. Imagine, see, this is a innovation where this lady got a thought. She has created this device, and when you are applying this device, so obviously you are saving your water and you are contributing towards the noble cause, towards the society. So dear students, these are the innovations possible because of simply design thinking process. So to understand the concept of design thinking, let us explore on these two innovations. We have seen that is the online store for that earthenware, and another is about this eco trap. Just give a thought. What could have been the thought process of these innovators during these innovations? Come on, you can share some points or drop in a chat section. What will be the thought process? Or maybe if you decide, yes, I have to develop or I have to come up with this kind of the product or this kind of the service. So whatever the thought process you are applying from raw material, or maybe I will say in fact from the thought process to the final product, whatever the process occurs in your mind, that is a design thinking. Or maybe in what way we can give or we can come up with this product which will be helpful for society. So what is your thought process on this now from these two examples? Suppose if you are observing, so what is your understanding about design thinking, or what will be the design thinking? Just a raw thought. I'm not expecting that you should come up with the concrete material for sharing. Anyone? Yes, you can talk. Yes, Shruti Tiwari, would you like to share anything? And I am getting some hands raised. Varma Savita. Okay, Harsh is mentioning in a chat section that we need to identify the problem. That is perfect reflection, Harsh. So any other sharing from any students on this particular discussion? As of now, whatever we have done, what we did, we have just dropped the two concepts or maybe the two innovations. One innovation, set of students of your age, they have come up with the online store, and second is about some eco trap. Yes, please. Yes, Shirsagar, S. Shirsagar, would you like to add anything? Okay, so we will just move ahead with this particular reflection that identify the problems. So, I just dropped another point over here. What is design thinking? And if you read this particular slide, so design thinking informs human-centered innovation. It begins with developing an understanding of customers or maybe the users' unmet or unarticulated needs. And if you apply design thinking for your any kind of service or for your any kind of the product, that minimizes the uncertainty and risk of innovation. Always thought pop-ups in our mind. Suppose मैंने ये market में particular product launch किया, तो whether it will work or not, whether people accept it or not. So that kind of the thoughts are there. That is called as the risk of innovation. But if you apply the design thinking concept for your innovation or maybe whatever the service you are providing to the customers, maybe you will develop some prototypes to learn, to test, and maybe the refined concepts. Or just for our understanding purpose, I just give another analogy over here. If you decide to go to domestic airport from your home, so what kind of the thoughts or maybe the options generally gets pop up in your mind? You try to explore various possibilities, to reach airport, maybe by auto or maybe by bus or maybe by the private car or maybe by walk if you are staying close to airport, isn't it? So what are you doing over here? You are giving inclusive thought to reach your destination with concrete planning and then execute it. So here, the desired destination, and accordingly you explore the options, see the feasibility, and then you will choose the mode of traveling and you will execute it to reach the destination. So on similar line, if you or what we can say, if we have to enter in your own startup or maybe the business, if you have a clarity in your mind such as an end product of your own business, and if we execute overall channelization of startups through the design thinking process, I am sure your own idea or your own startup will never become fail. So what is the design thinking? Design thinking is a new innovative thinking for new problems. So here you are observing one quote is there. Just read this quote. Yes, Einstein, isn't it? He was certainly right. We cannot solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. In addition, with the rapid changes in a society, the methods we have previously used to solve many of the problems we face are no longer effective. So dear students, we need to develop new ways of thinking in order to design better solutions, better services, and experiences that solve our current problems. Few years back, let us imagine, few years back, in fact, last year only, we were not sure that situation will change tremendously due to this COVID pandemic, and we will meet like this with your teachers. Your regular classes will be on this online mode, on online platforms like MS Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, isn't it? To exchange our thoughts and gain the education or maybe the knowledge or maybe the information effectively. But with COVID, now over the period, we all are now well acquainted with these problems and their possible solutions. And that is called as a new normal, isn't it? So I think now your clarity or maybe the concepts related to design thinking becoming more clear and clear with one or two analogies along with background of innovation. So this is a framework for design thinking. If you are observing here on a slide, so first point here we are mentioning as empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and then test. So this is an overall process or evolution of any product. If we apply the design thinking concept for your idea or for your product. So empathize means what, you know? Empathize means to understand and share the feelings with another person or maybe with colleagues or with a group of people. So these are the 5 practices that enable the innovation that include the development of deep empathic understanding of user needs and context, then the formation of heterogeneous teams, then dialogue based conversation is there. We have to generate multiple solutions we know through the experimentation and the use of a structured and facilitated process. That is overall design thinking. So dear students, let us imagine that you have to come up with a one beautiful product. So if you apply or if you ask certain questions to yourself only, so I am sure if you understand all these 5 points, you will come up with some kind of the product, some kind of the service, and you will become an innovator. Just see, you have to ask questions or maybe you have to gather the information or maybe you have some focus groups for a particular activity, conduct such kind of the discussions or deliberations, observations to understand the user, to understand the customer and what are the challenges. Maybe you can ask questions, maybe whether to whom we are trying to help, or maybe what is the social, what is the political, and what will be the economical impact of your product or service, whatever you are delivering. Then how does the target audience behave if you are launching your product in a market, and what will be their pattern of behavior after consumption of your product or by after using your product. Is there a problem? Then what is the problem really about, so that you can deliver a right product for a right person? Is there an opportunity for improvement whatever you are creating? Then what does the existing data or maybe the literature say about this particular issue? So that is called as the empathize and define the concept, isn't it? So these are the 2 points, empathize and define. These are the primary steps for any kind of the innovation. Then you will give ideation, you will brainstorm, you will generate as many solutions as possible, and that particular process is called as a ideation. Then moving further, you will prototype it based on certain ideas, viable ideas you will pick up, you will come up with some kind of the prototype or maybe the modeling kind of thing, or you will define a sketch or maybe some diagram of your product or the service whatever you are giving to the society, or prepare one model. That is called as a prototyping. Build minimally viable representations of solutions. And the further step is about the testing. You will test it, you will ask your stakeholders or maybe the customer feedback, observe short term change based on the feedback, then go back to the drawing board again or maybe go back to the design board again, redefine it, refine the concepts based on the customer feedback, and that is called as testing it. So dear students, this is a general framework for design thinking. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Generally, the problems we are facing today, these are in a whole new level of scale compared to the challenges we have faced in the past few decades. So in a largely globalized world where the changes in economic and natural resources can be felt halfway around the globe, our challenges are becoming more intertwined with the systems that connect us all. And to solve the new way of problems we face today and in the future, we need a new kind of thinking and a new approach towards the innovation. So you all are young students, you have a more creativity, you have a more applications, isn't it? So if you just get a proper track to become as an entrepreneur or to become as an innovator, each one of you is having a different potential. You can come up with a different ideas and you can develop number of products or number of services by considering the society problem. So that kind of the thought inculcation is important, and that is the main objective of our today's session. So design thinking is a large part of that new approach towards the innovation, as it allows people or maybe it allows teams and organizations to have a human centered perspective and yet a scientific approach towards solving a problem. Recently, I have read a book chapter from one book, and the title was "Change by Design." And in that book, these are the comments of author that a purely technocentric view of innovation is less sustainable now than ever, and a management philosophy based only on selecting from existing strategies is likely to be overwhelmed by new developments at a home or maybe they're abroad. And what we need are new choices, new products that balance the needs of individuals and of society as a whole. So new ideas that tackle the global challenges of health. So what will be your ideas? So this is just a thought, or these are the just a track for you. So you can give a thought on this track. The problems are related, or maybe the global challenges related to the health is there, poverty is there, education is there. So if you have a thought related to all these certain sectors, you can develop or you can come up with the better service with a design thinking approach and new strategies that result in a differences that matter and a sense of purpose that engages everyone affected by them. So it is hard to imagine a time when the challenges we faced so vastly exceeded the creative resources we have brought to bear on them. So, dear students, you all have a potential to be an innovator, to do unique things in an interest of society. An unique innovative approach, it is a need of 21st century. So, there is a need to think every aspect differently and explore the new solutions of a same problems. Design thinking as a strategy for innovation, isn't it? Now here on a slide you are observing some logos of company. Design thinking as a strategy for innovation. So here, whatever we are discussing about importance of design thinking. So when design principles are applied to strategy and innovation, the success rate of innovation dramatically improves. Design led companies are there. So here Apple is there, Pepsi company, or maybe Procter and Gamble, P&G. So all these are the design-led companies, such as IBM is also there, Nike is there. They have outperformed, isn't it? If you see the stock market index, of such kind of the companies. So they are, or maybe their stock is one of the towards always at a higher end. So over a 10-year period, by an extraordinary growth around maybe 200% according to the 2020 Design Value Index created by Design Management Institute. So great design, what is a great design? Great design has that wow kind of factor that makes products more desirable and services more appealing to the users. See, here you are applying your design thinking concept to your product or maybe the service. If you see Apple company, what is the recognition of Apple? It is well known for what purpose? Its design. You know, design means what? The process of innovation. Since the early days of the computer industry, Apple was a pioneer with its unique design and a value for its Macintosh computers, that is the first generation computers. And Apple is one of the companies that has a long-term design strategy and that focuses on consumer satisfaction and building a strong emotional marketing relationship between customers or maybe between the company and its users. So dear students, now is it clear to all of you what is difference between now designing and design thinking, or what is the designing basically? So designing is a more than creating products and services. It can be applied to the systems, it can be applied to the procedures, it can apply to the protocols of a company, or maybe it will apply to the customer experience. Yes, here at all the four phases, whatever you are developing, whatever procedure you are following, what is your protocol, and what will be the feedback of our customers. So here at all the stages, we can apply this particular design. So design is transforming the way leading companies create the value. The focus of innovation that has shifted from being engineering driven to the design driven, from product centric to the customer centric. If you see, the today's market is very volatile and everyone is looking for or everyone is creating the product which is customer centric, and from marketing focused to user experience focus. For an increasing number of all these design thinking professionals, they always think that is the means design thinking is one of the core of the effective strategy for any organization for further development or maybe the one of the organizational change. And nowadays experts believe that design thinking firms, those who apply such kind of the concept for their innovation, they are stand apart in their willingness to engage in the task of continuously redesigning their business and to create the advances in both innovation and efficiency, the combination that produces the most powerful competitive edge, isn't it? So that is a design thinking. Now you can come up, or you can who is this person? We will try to explore on these points, distinction between design and design thinking. So anyone can write name of this person in a chat. Who is this? Yes. No one? Who is this fellow? Out of these 134 students, anyone?
Steve Jobs.
Yes, very perfect, very perfect. I really appreciate Anuj that he has answered. And Steve Jobs famously said that most people make the mistakes, isn't it? Most people make the mistakes of thinking design is what it looks like. People think it's this veneer that the designers are handed this box and told make it look good. कुछ तो भी आपको डेकोरेटिव पेपर दिया जाएगा या कुछ तो भी पैकेजिंग दिया जाएगा एंड यू विल डेकोरेट दैट पर्टिकुलर बॉक्स और द प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज अ डिजाइन. So that is a wrong perception, isn't it? So that is not what we think design is. So it's not just what it looks like and feels like. So design is how it works, isn't it? So that is a famous write-up of Steve Jobs. In a nutshell, we can say that design thinking can be described as a discipline that uses the designer's sensibility and methods to match people's needs with what is technologically feasible and what is viable business strategy, and that can convert into the customer value and the market opportunity. So thinking like a designer brings together what is desirable from a human point of view with what is technologically feasible or maybe what is economically viable. And it also allows people who are not trained as a designers to use the creative tools to address a vast range of challenges. So design thinking draws on logic, imagination, intuition, and systemic reasoning to explore the possibilities of what could be and to create the desired outcomes that benefit the end user or maybe the customer. So design mindset is important, students. Design mindset is not a problem focused. It's solution focused and action oriented. It involves both maybe the analysis as well as the imagination. What is the driving force behind this design thinking? What is the driving force? If you give thought on this point as well, the biggest driving force is the accelerated rate of change in business and society caused by advances in technology. As companies become more software driven and rate of change is increases, and obviously the complexity is enhancing. So most companies are optimized to execute and solve a stated problem. Creativity is about finding the problem worth solving. So an absence of scalable creative framework encourages incremental innovation in lieu of disruptive innovation. And as a companies strive for disruptive innovation, they must find ways to inject and scale creativity across their organization. What is a disruptive innovation? Anyone of you would like to share anything? What is your understanding on a disruptive innovation? Yes. See, disruptive innovation is an innovation that creates a new market and a value network and eventually displaces the established market or maybe the leading firms, maybe the products or maybe the alliances. So that is called as a disruptive innovation. Initially, we were using floppy disk, CD, compact disk. Nowadays, all these innovations or all these products we are not using, isn't it? We have a pen drive or we have a USB port, we have a hard disk. So such kind of the innovations are called as a disruptive innovation. So digital transformation is about the accelerated disruption of business models and requires a mindset shift from problem solving to the problem finding also. And majority of the design thinker professionals need to be the visionary leaders from establishing an internal culture that encourages the ideation, creation, and iteration to building a strategic partnerships to create a new value propositions. So if you see the industrial era 5 years down the line, or maybe currently also, many of the organizations are looking such kind of the professionals who have a creativity, who have some ideation, who have a skill set of defining the problems, isn't it? So design thinking is a best tool for sense making, meaning making, or making simplifying or making process simplify and improving the customer experience. So additionally, design thinking minimizes the risk, reduces the cost, and improves the speed. Also energize the employees. This is the advantage of design thinking. It provides leaders with a framework for addressing the complex human-centered challenges and making the best possible decisions concerning. redefining value, reinventing the business models, or maybe shifting markets from behaviors, then organizational culture change, then complex societal challenges. Initially, I told maybe the health sector you have to choose, education sector, food, water, or maybe the climate change. We can come up with an n number of innovations. Problem affecting diverse stakeholders and multiple systems. So design thinking succeeds when it finds ideal solutions based on the real needs of real people. Recently, one Harvard Business Review article was there on the evolution of design thinking, and in that, editor pointed out certain points. So here, I would like to inform you that maybe people need their interactions with technologies and other complex systems to be the very simple, intuitive, and pleasurable. Nobody wants complexation, isn't it? So when done well, human-centered design enhances the user experience at every touch point and fuels the creation of products and services that deeply resonate with the customers. So design is empathic, and thus implicity drives a more thoughtful human approach to the business. Yes, so this is a implementing design thinking. So again, I come up with this model of design thinking about empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So it's design thinking is a journey of learning and discovery. It's also a way of being. If you are strategizing, or maybe if you are designing, uh, or maybe would you like to be a design thinker as a professional, so start at the beginning. Learn how to be a design thinker. Maybe you can take some mentorship from the seasoned practitioners. Look for the ways to add quality, or maybe to add the value to your offerings, whatever you are giving to society. Build your creative confidence by conducting low risk experiments at initial level or at a UG level or whatever you are doing at now, such as designing a meeting with your team members. Ask questions which you don't have answers for. Learn how to coach and facilitate for creativity, co-creation, and collaboration. So this is a crucial for creating a safe space for conceptual risk taking. Stay focused on the user's experience. Help teams unlock the provocative insights, reframe the existing problems, and generate ideas to respond to your research. Then encourage multiple perspectives, or maybe reframe the constraints into the opportunities. You know, जहाँ पे भी आपको limitations दिख रहे हैं कि yes, this is limited, just see the opportunity and try to explore that. See, explore possible assumptions. And so that's why I use this particular word, that is reframe the constraints into the opportunities. So dear students, if you have a creativity, you can explore this opportunity as a design thinker, or maybe the professional designer in a reputed organization. And if you see the overall trend in a market, scaling the design thinking. So anyone, who is this lady? Yes. Anyone can share name of lady? No one?
PepsiCo
Yes.
CEO Indra Nooyi.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, great, great, Suvarna madam. So here, you know, scaling the design thinking, maybe the various organizations are there. Earlier I told you, P&G is there, IBM is there, SAP, or maybe the Cisco. All these are integrating the design and design thinking throughout the organization. So by creating their own frameworks, educating employees at all the levels, hiring professional designers and design researchers, as well as acquiring the designing companies in order to operate at a scale. So this is one of the new path, or maybe the new career path that you all can choose apart from all these conventional way of working, isn't it? Just if you have a creativity, if you have a concepts, if you understand the problem very well and explore the maximum solutions, so this field is really great to all of you. And Cisco, you know, this is one of the first company to launch a non-technological or maybe the non-tech HR hackathon. Hackathon क्यों organize किया जाता है? You know, hackathon concept. Recently, Ministry of Education or MHRD, they have organized number of hackathons. And maybe in Western countries, this concept is more popular. So the purpose of hackathon is, you know, it is for a group of programmers to work together on a collaborative project. So maybe the persons from a different organizations, from a different areas, they are coming on a one place for collaborative project. And most hackathons are competitions where several teams are competing to create the prototypes that innovate on a particular theme or improve upon an existing project or maybe the product. That is the gist of this particular hackathon. And so in this hackathon, number of ideas get generated, number of prototypes get generated, isn't it? And this is one of the driving force for the concept of a design thinking. So if you would like to do career in this particular case, so you can explore hackathons or maybe the competitions like hackathons, whether they are organized, number of institutes or maybe the number of organizations, they are organizing such kind of the competitions. So be a part of that, take initiative, just work on a particular theme, isn't it? Also, one of the business article. So in that, one chief technology officer of IBM Design, in one of the interview, he said that our teams had a very engineering centric culture, but over the period, everything is changed. We wanted to shift that culture towards a focus on a user's outcome, isn't it? And they made the pivot from standalone siloed business units to a cloud first, and then you know the artificial intelligence strategy. Also, that CEO mentioned that this enormous transformation would not have been possible without embedding the design thinking into the company culture and innovating on the methodology to make it uniquely their own. And I am confident that now the each and every organization will give the thought process or maybe will uh, inculcate such kind of the approaches of a design thinking. And majority of the academic institutes, or when you are talking about Minnesota University is there, or maybe Stanford University, so all these are applying such kind of the concepts in academic process as well. So when Indra Nui, isn't it, she, as Suvarna madam said, that she was the chairman and CEO of PepsiCo company in a period from 2006 to 2018. And she decided the company needed to rethink its innovation process and design experience. And it's much more than packaging. So that Nui told the Harvard Business Review that she hired a Pepsi's first ever chief design officer. You know, the designation is chief design officer. What is her role? Placing design, thinking at the core of business strategy and the leadership. And now the design teams are pushing design through the entire system, from product creation to the packaging and labeling. At every process, they have applied this particular concept. How product looks on the shelf to how consumers interact with it, isn't it? So that is the power of this design thinking. And a majority of the companies have identified 4 critical success factors while implementing design thinking. So the leadership is there, link design thinking initiatives to strategic goals, provide direction, resources, and commitment. Then people enable the champions to lead the change through the successful lighthouse projects. Build up an internal design thinking community where the best practices are shared. Then the process use the generic design thinking framework, but it evolve the method and tools so they support your company's objective. And the fourth important factor is about environment. Develop and create collaborative workspaces for your workforce. Use to co-innovate with your customers and partners. Design thinking works because it is a collaborative, co-creative process grounded in engagement, dialogue, and learning. When you involve customers and our stakeholders in the process of defining the problem and in developing the solutions, you have a much better chance of gaining commitment for change and getting buy-in for your innovation. Isn't it? Now, towards the end of the session, we will just talk on how pharma can amplify design thinking to connect more with the consumers. Now, already, if you know the product development team or the product, what we can say, the PTN team, product development team, or the product development management, in pharma company, they have such kind of the separate department. Specifically, they apply such kind of the design thinking approach from final product to market, isn't it? So that is the overall concept of design thinking. But nowadays, all the pharma industries are coming up, start from the raw material to the final product. They have come up with such kind of the design thinking approach. So while pharma companies traditionally take a technology or a business approach to the innovation, they are now looking to amplify the consumer centric approaches to marketing, design, and communication, or maybe design thinking is the right prescription to meet those needs. So, with rapid change becoming the new normal, the pharma industry is the spotlight in the COVID and under increasing pressure to adapt and amplify the speed to market. So processes that worked in the past will struggle to cope with the demands placed on a business today. So anything that may have the power to simplify the innovation and communication development cycles needs to be taken into account. So design thinking can be used to find those accelerators. It amplifies efficiency by creating prototypes and testing to see how effective they are. And it simplifies the process and aligns all the stakeholders at every step of the way. And it has also proven the effectiveness. And the opportunity in pharma, the COVID-19 pandemic has put a spotlight, on the vital role that the pharmaceutical companies play within the health system in a crisis. And this must be seen as a pivotal moment for rebuilding the consumers and the patients' trust, and an opportunity to strengthen brand equity by connecting with them at an emotional level at the right moment with the right product or maybe the service or message. So it is now to stop old recipes, which have been definitely disrupted by this global pandemic, and start embracing the change. So design thinking is a good way to get a foot on the ladder, isn't it? So, dear students, wishing you all the best and have a nice time. If you have any specific questions, we can pick up for the discussion over here, or else you can post me on my WhatsApp number as well, which is here on a slide. And thank you very much for this patient listening. And thank you, especially organizers, Suchita madam and team. So over to you, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a startup plan. Basically, how design thinking will help my startup plan. Can I explain more about my startup?
Yes, Vikesh.
Sir, basically, I'm thinking to create an marketing startup for pharma. Basically, we are we connect with the basically connect with doctors only. So how my main customers are doctors basically, where I want to create a uh, healthcare uh, uh, healthcare platform, basically just like LinkedIn, where people can connect, especially for healthcare, sir. Because in healthcare pharma marketing, we don't show any ads on TV for medication, so we have to do we have to connect with doctors only. So I want to create a healthcare platform basically. So how design thinking will help my startup or idea? Hello.
Yes, Ambikesh, that is a great thing. I got your point, and that's very perfect. Now, based on your this particular plan or maybe the concept, if you see the parameters of design thinking, just define it is okay, what exactly you have to do on a paper or maybe overall channel. So maybe whether to whom you are trying to help, or maybe what is impact on a society, or what will be overall what economical impact, or maybe the political impact, and how does the target audience, or maybe you are targeting about maybe the linkage between the you have to create the link with the doctors or maybe the professionals. So what is the exact problem identification is important. And if you
Sir, sir,
yes.
problem is basically the sophisticated structure present in pharma marketing, where they spend more and more money in marketing only. So the cost of medicines will increase, sir.
Yes.
That is why.
Yes, yes. So with your thought process, number of colleagues or maybe your friends are there, isn't it? So make a group of which aligns with your thought process. Just do the brainstorming and generate as many solutions as possible. You can list out maybe based on whatever the problem you have identified. These are 5 to 6 solutions, possible solutions. And if these 5 to 6 solutions, if you have come up, just convert these solutions into the prototype. Just make it on a raw level, or just make it on a trial level, or maybe build minimally viable representations of all these solutions, and then you can test it on a consumers or on your stakeholders. And if you are getting positive feedback about your whatever the solutions you are generating, so obviously you can come up with the better solution again. You can again redefine the problems, you can again refine the concepts, and in this way you can come up with the concrete idea. Yes, these are the major possible solutions. At this stage you are feeling this is a main problem, isn't it? But brainstorming is very important. So what are the problems, what is the source of this point source is important. Take the help of your persons or maybe the friends which are in an your thought process, which are in align with your thought process for this particular idea. So in that way you can apply this kind of the design thinking in your own startup or maybe the business.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Ambikesh. Anyone?
Any other question? Yes, students.
I think there are no more
I
questions, madam.
think there are, yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we'll conclude now.
Yes,
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful
Sir,
session.
hello.
yes, please.
Hello.
Sir, what are the ups and downs? What are the risk and failures we can assume in this design thinking before starting any startup career or something?
See, innovation is whatever you are talking about concept. Design thinking is a such kind of the field, or this is a kind of the system you will apply to the innovation, your innovation. So whatever the risk you are taking, that will get minimized if you apply this particular approach. See, any startup or any business, risk is there. But if you are taking risk without any study and with study, So that matters. So if you are taking risk with design thinking approach, so I am sure your risk will be get minimized. Whatever the loss will be there, or whatever the up and downs you are saying, that will get minimized with this approach. So just like with study हम लोग एग्जाम दे रहे हैं और पास हो रहे हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली अपना जो सक्सेस रेट है वो ज्यादा है विदाउट स्टडी. Suppose if you are going blindly for examination and write that paper, so obviously risk is more, chances of failures are more. But if you are taking the concept of design thinking, applying on your startup or maybe the business, and then come up in a market, so जो failure का chance है वो कम है. That is my overall observation, or maybe the overall say. Very good reflection, Rajnish.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other question? Okay. Thank you, sir, for wonderful and fruitful session. And I definitely say it will be beneficial to students. I am thankful to Dr. Rakesh Somani, sir, for giving us an opportunity and support. I thank you, our management and principal, for the support. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Jine, sir. You gave us your valuable time. And last but not the least, dear faculties and dear students, thanks for being a good listener. With this, we conclude our session. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, students. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.